Let's talk about 3 signs that you are in God's way when it comes to your spouse's transformation or even marital breakthrough. If you've been following me, then you probably heard me say this. Number 1, being their savior. When anytime they're in trouble or anytime they feel like they need help, you go and jump to rescue because you want them to accept you, okay? This was where I was. I did this a lot where I would go and jump to rescue. I would go and literally try to do whatever he needed so that he could accept me, so that he could see that I'm changed, when really I was operating from my rejection trauma. I was performing and calling it obedience, okay? Proverbs 19:19 tells us that a hot-tempered person, they must pay the penalty, all right? If you go and rescue them, you will have to do it again. That is Proverbs 19:19. This exposes a spiritual law that whenever you get in the way of a person's consequence, you are getting in the way of the transformation that God is trying to do in their hearts and in their minds. So this is where a lot of women, it's almost like your love for them begins to bleed, and it's like you feel bad, you want to help them because you love them, when really, if God has allowed the prodigal son to be in the pig pen and he had to sit in his consequences in order for his mind to change, then God knows what needs to happen. Think about your change. Think about the hardship that you're facing, that only God could have helped you change to be this person, because you had to pay the price. You had to learn how to be quiet. You had to learn how to submit to God. You had to learn how to be obedient to the Lord, right? So yes, you trying to be their savior, always saving them when they need help, always giving them a ride, giving them gas money, giving them so much of you, and they're treating you like trash. The reason why, they are suffering the consequences of their actions, and you're saving them, but they're not learning your value. They're not learning you at all. They're not learning the lesson, that God is trying to teach them. So yes, you can be in the way, okay? Another thing that spouses like to do that's in their rebellion, they want you to go through the consequence with them. So they'll say things like, I'm sorry, and they want to be on the phone with you all the time. And they're having a hard time, but their actions is not making move steps forward to restoration or obedience. So it's almost like you are an emotional pacifier for them, or some type of emotional support, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna stab you in the back, but I'm suffering the consequences of it, but I want you to coddle me. I want you to be here with me. Absolutely not. Let them sit in their consequences and get off the phone with them, okay? That is where a lot of people go wrong. So that's the first sign. The next sign, your lack of surrender. Many people, you're holding on to them. Yes, you are holding on to them. You're holding on to everything that they have done to you. You have to understand that you have to be healed in order for restoration to happen. So if you have not talked to God about the unforgiveness, if you have not been intentionally working on your healing, asking God to heal you, setting boundaries, right? Setting boundaries, you're in the way, because you're blocking your own healing and you're blocking their deliverance, right? So it's almost like, well, I want to work on them, but you still have all of these different emotions going on. I can't open up communication, because you still have these things going on. So you have to surrender everything. I love to teach people the Bible. The Bible tells you to cast your cares upon the Lord. The Bible tells us to pray about everything, worry about nothing. Every day, not just when you feel sad. Every day you make it a habit to give God your burdens, to give God your issues. This is where you and God begin to be locked in, because now it's like God is supporting you and you can have peace in the middle of all of this chaos. You have to surrender them. Stop sending them Bible scriptures. Stop sending them Bible scriptures. They don't want the Bible scriptures. They don't want to hear about Jesus. You have to give them over to the Lord. Now, to backtrack on what I said, the Bible is perfectly clear that we win them over with the conduct of our behavior and not our words. Okay? So, you don't want to try to force Jesus on them. Release them, okay? And I know it's going to feel like they're getting away with their wickedness or their rebellion. That's not true. You don't have the understanding of what God is doing at the moment, and your healing will bring clarity to that, right? So we need you to surrender and heal. Okay, so that you can hear God, you can know what He's saying, because it's very hard to hear when you still have all of this stuff going on inside of you. Last but not least, you're trying to prove your worth. You're trying to prove your value. Listen, they know you're valuable. All right, they got with you in the first place. That's why they was with you. You had something of value, right? And you feel like, oh well, I need to prove myself to them, right? I need to show them that I'm beautiful. I need to prove myself to them that, I'm worth coming back to. Let me tell you something. A man could approve your value or your worth. That comes from God and how you feel about yourself. Okay, I used to work for this man's approval, and honestly, I am glad that God set me free from that mindset, because it was such a spiritual prison, and it made me look at myself in a way that wasn't even real. Okay, like I would look at other beautiful women, you know what I'm saying, and feel very insecure because he was not approving of me at the time. So I had to take back my power. I had to literally begin to pour into myself, because when they're dealing with somebody else, it is going to make you feel like, oh, I'm not good enough. And that's not true. They are making broken choices. Their choices does not mean that you're not worth it. Their choices does not mean that you're not beautiful. They're making broken choices, and you can't trust nothing a person says that is rejecting God, okay? And that is dishonoring and operating in trauma. Okay, you can't, their words don't matter to you right now. So when you find yourself trying to prove your worth, I just watched a video of a young lady last night where she was dating this guy, and she made this long video about how she wanted a second chance and, all of these different things. And that is not the way to go to get a man. Okay, that is not the way to go to get a man. You have to heal. All right. These people are sent by God. Restoration is a God thing. It's not you pleading out your heart and trying to work and all of that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay. So you're going to become a better person because you want to be a better person. You want to be beautiful. You want to pour into yourself, right? Not because you want your husband to approve of you. Eventually, when God begins to heal their heart, they're going to see your beauty. They're going to see your change. But that is a work that God has to do in them, okay? I pray that this video has blessed you. If you are just now seeing my face, my video, my platform, I have an ebook, a free ebook called 3 Signs That Satan is Trying to Make You Give Up on Your Marriage or from Standing. With that ebook, you get everything you need. Also, it comes with a special offer once you get the ebook on. That is in the link in my bio, and I'll see you in the next video.